Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 302 Sports. Benny Mitchell here today with the man for all seasons, Glenn Frazier. A little bit of softball action here. Glenn, update us real quick since we have not a whole lot of internet connection here. We had to join in progress. What have we missed so far here with the Smyrna Eagles?
Well, Smyrna led off with a bunt right up the center of the field. The pitcher picked it up. That was Lexi Moore, and she just got thrown out by a stride at first. And then that was followed on the next pitch by Kaylin Wilson's single up the middle. And then we just had a pop out. The shortstop hustling Nikki Elliott over to cover that one beyond third base in foul territory. So 2 outs, runner on first for the Eagles to start the game. What a way, Benny, to finish off the regular season with the number 1 and the number 4 ranked teams in the state closing out regular season here at the Midway Softball Complex.
Yeah, Glenn, interesting year this year. Last year, state championship Milford, state champions Milford, and they got to win today to even have a chance to be in the playoffs. And talk about the difference between last year and this year. This year, pitching seems to be the key to some of these teams. Last year, we had 22 runs scored in the state championship game. So a little difference in the years here.
Milford did just enough to get into the playoffs last year. You're right. And, man, once they got in the playoffs, their bats were just unbelievable. They scored double-digit runs in almost every game, I believe, at the quarterfinal game against Atho, where they won by 1 run in extra innings. But then they just scored all kinds of runs as they went to the semis and into the championship game. So it's hard to say this year. I mean, there's some solid pitching here in the state, up and down the state, but this could be anybody's year. Any one of maybe 6 or 7 teams have a solid shot to win this thing, especially after Charter upset Caravel last night.
Newark Charter, absolutely. Yeah, they're a top 10 team. I'm sure Newark Charter expected that win last night, but I'm not sure anybody else in the state did.
Caravel suffering their 3rd loss of the season. Also lost to the Smyrna team 7-0, and then had a 1-run loss to Appoquinimink, their 1st loss of the season. So Smyrna comes in with a 1 loss, and DMA with just 2, and all 3 losses just by 1 run. As there's a strikeout, Sarah Miller strikes out to end the inning. So Smyrna had 1 hit, no runs, 1 left on at the end of 1 half. Smyrna scoreless, and DMA Seahawks coming up.
Well, let's talk a little bit about DMA. They are 15-2 on the season. Their 2 losses. We talked about Caravel Academy. That was a 3-2 loss. And Appoquinimink, 2-1 loss. Appoquinimink, one of the top teams in the state. And the Smyrna Eagles, early on, Glenn, they weren't in the top 10 anywhere. Nobody expected anything out of Smyrna. And they get a couple big wins, and the Smyrna fans started asking, how about us? Mm-hmm. How about us? If they climb in the rankings, and what happens on April the 6th? They lose 2-1 to Indian River.
Indian River, another solid team from the Henlopen, probably will win the South. I don't know, Lake Forest is going to have something to say about that. Of course, the Southern champ, the Northern champ automatically qualify for the playoffs, as does the Flight A, Flight B, and some of the other conferences around the state, like the Diamond State. But DIAA will get together tomorrow, and they'll start setting up the calculations and set the pairings for Saturday's first-round action. The
Smyrna Eagles taking the field down in the red jerseys and black pants. Let's talk a little more about DMA. You talked to their coach, Coach Allen, this week, and what did he tell you about this team?
Well, about his team, he's missing a couple of big components. He had 2 players suffered injuries earlier in the season. One of them was his starting shortstop and one of the leading hitters on the team, Sam Freeland. She dove trying to make a catch in the outfield from her shortstop position and suffered a compound fracture, and that just ended her season. And then the very next game, the center fielder goes down, Alexis Johnson, suffering an ankle injury. So his 2 top hitters are out. The leading hitter on the team batting .400 coming into the ballgame, and everybody else on the team, by the way, batting .300 or better is Olivia Ferris, and their power hitter is Claire Henry. But he has some major concerns about his competition today in the Smyrna Eagles. He's very concerned about the offense of Smyrna. They're also solid defensively, and they have a good pitcher on the hill, Jess Anderson.
So, yeah, battle with the birds. Let's see who soars this afternoon here at the Midway Softball Complex. Nice complex. What, 5 fields out here?
Yeah, they play a lot of travel ball up here all season long. Padua calls it home field. They're playing up here today as well on another field, a couple of fields away from us. And, of course, DMA calling it home field. And I got to give you credit for setting us up right under the shade of this tree here, buddy.
I have to tell you, that was totally by accident, but I'm going to take full credit for it.
All
Here
right.
we go.
DMA, that's Abby Montgomery, the left fielder. She'll lead it off. The left-hander against Smyrna's Jess Anderson. We're scoreless. Smyrna stranding 1 runner in the top of the first. Little low, ball 1 from Jess Anderson. Set her defense, Lexi Moore at shortstop. At second base, Kayla Wilson. Third base, Sarah Miller. Over at first is Julia Thor, and the catcher is Maddie Drummond. Pitch number 2 is a called strike. 1-1 count.
This pitcher here from Smyrna, a little low on the first one. Kind of maybe keep it down. It looks like a slap hitter here. You know, respecting her a little bit and kind of see where she was going.
There's the move, fouled off down the third base side. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jess Anderson going to stay in state to continue her career. She's committed to Wesley College.
Outstanding. It's nice to hear some of these kids going to schools like Wesley going the D3 route. Not everybody's a blue chipper.
That's right.
And you can, my son, he went the D3 route in wrestling and enjoyed 4 years of it. And like I said, not everybody's a blue chipper, but you still get the chance to play in the NCAA.
There's another foul ball, and there was a ball before that, so the count is even at 2-2. Leadoff hitter for the Seahawks, Abby Montgomery, the left fielder. For head coach Allen. A little warm out here today. 90 degrees in Newcastle County. There's another foul.
Off another one. A little interesting matchup here. A Henlopen Conference Northern Division team. Upstate, downstate battle. Not your Blue Hen team, though. This is your Diamond State Conference, a fairly new conference up here.
DMA with a strong program, too. Rather young school. Only been around for a handful of years. There's a ball, so now the count has gone full. As DMA tries to get their leadoff hitter aboard. He has good speed, Montgomery. This is a team in DMA that lost back-to-back games in the middle of the season by 1 run to both Appoquinimink and to Caravel. There's a ball fielded by the first base, flips to second base covering, and we've got a close out at first.
A little bobble there by the second baseman, number 6, Kayla Wilson, but she's able to possess it and gets the out.
So both teams in the first inning, their slap hitters almost getting on base, but not quite.
The major difference between softball and baseball here, all those waste pitches really mean nothing in softball because there's no real pitch count in softball. These girls could go all the time with the windmill style.
Swing and a miss from Ash Conatee, has a twin sister that plays on the team. Ashley plays center field, and her sister is the catcher, Brooke. High pitch for a ball.
Delaware Military, first of its kind military school here in the state of Delaware. We have 2 now, one down near you in Smyrna.
Right, First State
Military Academy.
Yep.
The Bulldogs.
Trying to get their athletic programs going.
The DMA uses more of the Navy approach. The Eagles kind of resemble the Navy uniforms. And First State, they went more the Marine approach with the Bulldog mascot.
Smart move.
Yeah.
There's a swing and a miss and a strikeout from Jess Anderson. 2 out here in the bottom of the first. No score in this ball game. As I mentioned earlier, DMA lost its first game of the year by 1 run to Appoquinimink in a low-scoring game, and then they lost to Caravel in a 1-run game. Close one, too. And usually, Benny, when you get into these playoffs and you get better competition, you see lower-scoring games in high school softball. It's 3-2, 2-1.
2017.
Yes, right. Last year was an anomaly, yes. Up to bat now is Nikki Elliott, the shortstop. She ducks under that pitch for a ball.
Yeah, for years and years, Glenn, 80s and 90s, the upstate schools owned softball. And it seems to be here in recent years, the Henlopen Conference has really, at least as far as the champion, has put a stranglehold. You had a Caravel win a few years ago, but
they're the premier program up here, there's no doubt. Year in and year out, Caravel's right there.
But you had the back-to-back wins from Laurel, then the blowout by Polytech, and then Milford last year. So the Henlopen Conference on the rise here in high school softball.
And this year, like I said, it's anybody's game. You talk about Smyrna comes in here ranked number 1 this week in both the Delaware Sports Zone poll and the News Journal poll. Appoquinimink with 1 loss, like Smyrna, ranked number 2. There's the pitch. There's a good shot and through on the right side. Will it be a hit? She just beats it out as the right fielder made the throw for Smyrna. So Nikki Elliott gets the first hit of the game for the Seahawks. Both teams have 1 hit here in this first inning. But yeah, we mentioned Smyrna, Appo definitely in the mix. Caravel, this DMA team, quite possibly Newark Charter, maybe an Indian River, maybe a Lake Forest. It's like
somebody out of the South will get in because they get at least the 1 representative. They get the conference champion.
I wouldn't be surprised to see both Lake and Indian River qualify for the playoffs. Like I said, the seedings and the pairings should come out tomorrow at some point. This is the final day of the regular season. We are here at the Midway Softball Complex in Newcastle County. And the batter is Alexis Novotny, the first baseman. Jess Anderson gets ahead of her. Nikki Elliott at first base with a single.
Again, folks, apologize that you're having to watch this on a rebroadcast, but unable to get a signal up here at the Midway Sports Complex. Just would not let us push anything out onto the internet. So getting a little on-demand action today, as we'll upload this as soon as I can race down to Sussex County today and get on some strong internet.
Well, depending on what time we get out of here, you might not be able to race.
You got it right.
There's a high pitch for a ball to Novotny from Jess Anderson. Yeah, I think we're going to be right in the middle of drive traffic, buddy.
I hear you.
Trying to head south. Scoreless in the first inning of this ball game. Final regular season game for both teams. There's a pop-up in the infield handled by the second baseman for Smyrna. And that'll do it for the first inning. Delaware Military Academy with one hit by Nikki Elliott. No runs, one runner left on, and we are scoreless at the end of one inning.
Let's talk a little bit about this Smyrna team. Head coach Nikki Shirey, 16-1. And bet they'd love to have that April game back with Indian River. But still, with a win here, it probably will be the number one seed in the state tournament. Definitely top three.
Yeah, definitely top three, you're right. And, again, it's a very complicated scoring system that's calculated by the DIAA. Obviously, they figure in your record, but then they figure in the competition that you played. They take their wins and losses, they add that up. I think they double it, divide it by 3, go to pi square. After that, your guess is as good as mine as to how they're going to come out seeding these teams. But you would think that these two teams, along with Caravel and Appoquinimink, will probably be the top 4.
Right.
Just who knows what order.
I often refer to when we talk about seeding in state tournaments is learn from the wrestling seeding. There is no formula. The committee gets together. They pick their 6 teams. I use the point system to pick your 16 or whatever teams is, but use humans to there's enough softball people, baseball people, whatever sport in this state, former coaches, current coaches, that could seed a state tournament. And because every year it comes out and everybody complains about the seeding.
Yep. And you have things like you have to play all the teams if you're in a conference that are in your conference. Right. And hey, in any given season, your conference might not be that strong, and you're going to get penalized because of strength of competition. We're ready to go to start the top half of the second inning. The Smyrna Eagles will have the catcher up, Madison Drummond. No score in the ballgame.
Second inning. Here we go.
And there's a swing and a miss.
Delaney Sheehan on the mound for DMA. Lefty. Glenn, do you think that makes much of a difference in softball as it does in baseball?
I don't think so. I mean, you got different spin on the ball. There is a shallow pop-up in the infield. Nikki Elliott extending all the way to make the catch and get the first out of the inning. Nice athletic play by Elliott. No, I think there are a lot of left-handed pitchers in the state in softball. I've seen a ton of them. And you just got to get used to the way the ball reacts before it gets to the plate. And they can make it spin to the outside, towards the left side of the batter's box, or the other side. Now, not like baseball.
Much bigger deal in baseball.
So one out. Now off the bat for Smyrna is Lakin Zay, the DP. Sheehan on the hill, and Sheehan also a very good hitter. She's batting .375 coming into this ball game today. Swing and a miss. It's a good thing we have a nice breeze up here today.
Yeah,
it makes it
nice breeze and that small tree behind us.
It makes it comfortable for the fans as well as us.
Yes, it does.
A little change up, and a little high for a ball.
We are completely covered in shade by shade at this point. And the breeze on the back of my neck feels pretty good. Not so much out there on that dirt.
Got a 1-1 count. Sheehan is now a little confused with the selection of pitches. So catcher Conate will come out and they'll talk about it. Wouldn't be surprised to see these two teams possibly meet again in the postseason, depending on how things get paired up. DMA with a young team. And the youngsters have had to step up because of the two upperclassmen that got hurt. They're starting shortstop and center fielder midway through the season.
Big strikeout by Sheehan there.
Yep, Laken's goes down swinging. 2 outs here in the top of the second. Scoreless game. Now it's first baseman Julia Thor. And we get the names from the coaches, and they have to give us the proper names. But you listen to the fans out here and the families, and you pick up all the nicknames.
Right, absolutely.
Jules and Ash and Abby, and sometimes you get Speedy.
During wrestling season, we had a Woo.
That's right.
Woo Foscue from Laurel. Just makes me want to do more Laurel matches.
She fires and gets a 2-strike count, yeah. Well, I think she was swinging to put one out here by us that time, Ben.
Right.
This Smyrna team scored a lot of runs this season, averaging almost double digits. There's a ball. 1-2 count.
Smyrna coming along in the Henlopen North in a lot of sports. State champs, third straight state championship in football. Back to the finals in basketball.
Oh, good change right there to strike out.
End the inning.
Strike out Thor, and that'll end the inning. Yep.
Well, Glenn, we're going to pay some bills real quick. Folks, when we come back, more DMA and Smyrna. It's 0-0 midway through the second.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Welcome back to the Midway Softball Complex. Benny Mitchell here with Glenn Frazier on 302 Sports.
Yeah, DMA getting ready to back here, bottom of the second. We're scoreless. Head coach for the Seahawks is Roman Allen, assisted by John Michael and Tom Freeland.
And before we went away to break, we were talking a little bit about Smyrna's, 10
the
years ago
sports.
they were a Henlopen South school.
That's right.
And now they're in the Henlopen North, and they're competing.
Well, that population in that school district is really exploding. I live in that district, and before that I lived in the Appoquinimink district, so I tried to get away from all the people. Didn't work.
For you folks watching, our cameraman is okay. We're just switching tripods here. You're getting a little bit of sky, and we'll be right back to action here in a second. Nick Hall, our cameraman here today, subbing in emergency fashion.
Claire Henry to lead it off here, bottom of the second for the Seahawks. Thought about that one, and it's a called strike anyhow. Jess Anderson getting a call low in the zone. Final game of the regular season. There's a shot to center field. Send the center field back deep, turns around, and making the catch out there for the Smyrna Eagles is Kaylin Press.
That was a nice adjustment by her, Glenn. She got turned to the right, made a nice pivot, got under the ball, and made the play for the first out. But she almost got caught turning to the right.
That ball was well hit off the bat, but I think the wind held it up just a little bit. And it also helped to turn around Kaylin Press, who's one of the better hitters on this Smyrna team. Another lefty up now for DMA with one out. It's Delaney Sheehan, the pitcher. And you know what, Benny, in softball, a lot of teams, high school teams that have pitchers, don't let them bat.
Right.
But Coach Allen told me, he says, hey, Sheehan and my other pitcher, they're two of the better hitters on the team. I got to keep them in the lineup.
Well, especially when you've lost two. You lose your two top offensive people during the season. And now you're getting down to 3 and 4. And, maybe as your fourth or fifth best hitter on the team, you can do without your pitcher hitting, but not now. And not this point of the year.
Yeah, Olivia Ferris, she's one of the other girls that pitches a little bit. She leads the team batting .400. There's a called strike. No score in this one in case you just joined us. And we are in the bottom of the second. at Midway Softball Complex. Nice change up, and she gets a called strike. Jess Anderson with the strikeout.
So, Glenn, Smyrna, your Northern Division champs, so they have the auto bid.
Right.
They're in the tournament. And we talked about the way their athletic programs are growing and succeeding. How much longer before they take that Founders Cup away from Cesar Rodney that has a stranglehold on it for 15 years?
Might not be too long. Or Cesar Rodney's strong in some sports that Smyrna's not quite there yet. Tennis, Cesar Rodney very strong in boys and girls tennis.
Country clubs. Tennis, golf.
Right, golf. There you go.
Yeah, and they are powerful in those sports. Winning state titles in tennis and golf in the last 5-6 years.
Up to bat now for DMA is the catcher, Brooke Conatee.
I actually got that description from former AD Mike Schoenwell. He called him the country club. We do well in the country club.
Who's down in Florida now.
Yes, he is.
Loving retirement. That looked like a pretty good pitch from here, but we can't see the corners. That's a ball to Conatee. Jess Anderson already with 2 strikeouts in the game. And a 2-1 count here to Brooke Conatee, the catcher.
I look over to our right, and Smyrna is warming up another pitcher.
Yeah, a lot of times teams will do that just to keep somebody loose just in case. There's a high drive to center. This might stay in the park. Nope, that is gone. Home run into the trees. And that sent Caleb Press all the way back to the fence, and she could not bring that one in. Over the head, and Brooke Conatee with a home run and the first run of the ball game.
So the Seahawks strike first.
That was a drive. Like the other shot earlier by Claire Henry that I thought the wind kind of held it up a little bit.
Oh,
that one was wind aided a tad.
Yeah. The wind's blowing. I can feel it blowing from the back of my head, my right ear, towards center field. So, and then now you feel the adjustment of the wind. So it's not steady in one direction by any means.
He went to meteorological school.
And luckily we kept our
It's
tent
blowing
down.
from my right ear.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Well, the folks at home can see we're sitting in left field. Hopefully, they can tell us to left field.
Strike one to Olivia Ferris. She's the DP today for the Seahawks. Seahawks on the board first here, Ben.
Windy enough that I'm glad we didn't put the 10 up, or we'd be chasing.
Oh, my gosh. A little low for a ball. You can see the home team, DMA, they have no shade or protection over their dugout. But Smyrna decided to bring the 10 up to get a little shade over there, and they've got bungee cords and everything else to try to keep it down with this wind.
Right.
Called strike for Jess Anderson. Jess Anderson looking to continue past high school and pitch and play softball for Wesley Wolverines. Stay in state. There's a swing and a miss for another strikeout for Anderson, and that brings us to the end of 2 innings of play. The score here from Midway is the DMA Seahawks 1 and the Smyrna Eagles 0.
Glenn, we're going to stay right here. And since you brought up Wesley, I think we'd be remiss in not recognizing the death of the football coach, Mike Durash, yesterday. Just surprising news. And with Wesley being a small local college, it's hit the state hard.
It has. It shocked me. Probably the most successful Division III football coach in the Eastern region, let alone at the school of Wesley College, as he put that program on the map in D3 continually, year after year, qualifying for the playoffs and making deep runs. And a great guy. Now, everybody that's ever played for him, we got Mike Judy, who's the successful head coach at Smyrna High School.
J.D. Mall, Cape and Lopez.
Right. That have nothing but so many positive things to say about Mike Judy.
Laurel, I believe, was a Wesley grad.
Yeah. He's done so much, not only for his players, but how about helping Delaware high school kids continue to play in college and bringing them on as well. Certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. And the whole Wesley College University and their community.
So here we go, 3rd inning.
Eagles will have the bottom of their order up here in the top of the 3rd, trailing 1-0 in this ball game. Number 1 versus number 4 on the final day of regular season here at Midway.
And the way this season's gone, Glenn, it's if you ask me, I couldn't make a prediction if one run's going to hold up in this game because there's been some low-scoring games, but there's been some high-scoring games. Smyrna, when they can put runs on the board, as can the Seahawks.
Well, I'm sure the Smyrna girls saw that home run go flying out by Conatee and said, hey, they're salivating right now.
That's right. It's time to get the ball up.
Right fielder Abby Mace will lead it off here for the Eagles in the top of the 3rd. Sheehan, the pitcher. lefty gets the signal from the bench, and that's a ball. Olivia Smith, the left fielder's on deck. Well, change up that time by Sheehan, a called strike and a 1-1 count to Abby Mace. Once again, the DIAA should be announcing the pairings for the softball tournament, which will begin this Saturday. As to what 16 teams will be in the tournament, as Benny's already mentioned a couple of times here, the Henlopen North and South champs automatically qualify, as do the Blue Hen Flight A and Flight B, the Diamond State.
The Diamond State does automatic qualify.
They automatic bid as well. And then they'll decide who the at-large teams are going to be based on their point system. Another change-up. Doesn't get the call. There's a ball, and it's a 2-2 count. Abby Mace showing bunt here. Trying to distract the pitcher. Brings the bat back and pops it up. It might go out of play, and it does on the right side.
The old style half-dome backstop here, Glenn. Don't see them around much anymore.
No. And they have them all over this complex.
Yes, they do.
Abby Mace, one of the Smyrna players that plays her travel ball out of state, plays for the Smyrna Park Hornets. Talk about travel ball. She travels quite a ways just to practice and play with that team. And there's a high pitch for a ball. Smyrna getting their leadoff runner here on the top of the third.
That's their second base runner of the game.
A ton of these Smyrna players play on the Cobras, the Delaware Cobras team.
Travel league softball really, it's going on for a long time. I want to say I remember back in the '80s, late '80s, hearing about it, and kind of was the opening the door for baseball. Now there's a ton of travel league baseball around the state of Delaware.
First pitch is a bunt, and that goes foul. Trying to advance that leadoff runner, Abby Mace, was Olivia Smith. Couldn't quite get that one down to fair territory. Yeah, travel ball's really elevated the high school level of play here in the state of Delaware. And, Benny, there are so many good programs in the state that so many of these girls can continue on in college with scholarships. There's a good shot, and that is over. The right fielder's head will bounce to the fence. Mace around second, on her way to third. She's being waved home. There's the throw to the plate. Not in time and dropped it. Now the batter, Smith, will also score, and the Eagles, just like that, take the 2-1 lead. I think we'd probably call that a double and then advancing on the throw.
Absolutely. The ball well hit in the right field over the right fielder's head. Again, wind aided, as we talked about the wind changing directions here. Just happened to be blowing the right field at that time.
I don't think DMA had that girl scouted, as Olivia Smith had a drawn-in outfield and just roped it right over their heads. So now the Eagles on top, 2-1, nobody out. Jess Anderson. No, it's not Jess Anderson. So she will be into that flex position. We go right back to the leadoff batter, Lexi Moore, who attempted to bunt her first time up and was thrown out pitcher to first. Not going to get her that time.
Great speed down the line.
Yep. Lexi Moore with a bunt single. And now Smyrna with 2 hits in this inning and nobody out still. That brings up Kayla Wilson. Wilson had a single her first time up. Right up the middle. Smyrna with quite a few left-handed batters in the lineup, and there goes the runner. Gets that hand in there, and she's safe.
A little second attempt there. She slid over the bag.
Right. Lexi Moore with a theft. He has very good wheels. Good defensive shortstop. Girl also that plays out of state travel ball. She plays for Wagner's over in Maryland, and I hear she's going to go to the University of Delaware. Timeout. pitcher and catcher trying to get on the same page. That's Sheehan and Conity. Nobody out in this inning for Smyrna. Already have regained or taken the lead their first time today, 2-1. There's the pitch. More thought about it, but she'll stay right there at second base. Had a little bit of everything in this game already. A home run, an RBI double, bunt single, stolen base. And here's a shot out to left field, and that is a diving
nice
catch made. Throw to second, and they get the double play. That is a real nice play by the left fielder. Yep, Abby Montgomery. They get the double play on Moore, who was running on the stroke of the bat.
Smyrna already with 2 runs in the inning. Look like they're about ready just to maybe pull away.
Right. That brings Kaylin Press to the plate. She popped up last time. Shortstop Nikki Elliott going over near the line to get it, and she pops it up again. Now, whose ball is this? Elliott calling for it. Steps in front of the second baseman and makes a snow cone catch. A little confusion there, but it gets DMA out of the inning with no more damage. So Smyrna takes the lead after the top of the third, 2-1.
Then we're going to step away. Right back with more high school baseball here from 302 Sports. Welcome back to the Midway Softball Complex. 2-1, the Smyrna Eagles. And midway through the third. And Glenn, like we said, Smyrna puts 2 on the board with no outs. Runners on first and second. Looks like they're going to in a position to pull away here. And big play by Abby Montgomery, and stopped any thoughts that Smyrna had of piling some runs on that inning.
Defensive play of the game so far. I think Lexi Moore thought that ball was really going to fall, and she took off for third. Abby with a burst of speed right at the end of that play to judge it, make the catch, double Moore off of second base. And Smyrna able to get a couple of runs to take the lead, but that's where it ended. So DMA hanging around now, down just 2-1. Leadoff batter now is Angelina DeLoso. She's the second baseman. Bottom of the third inning, her first at-bat. DMA trying to tie this thing up here in the bottom of the third. DeLoso just a freshman. One of 3 freshmen that dot this roster.
Yeah, I believe DMA, well, they're part of the Red Clay school district, big school district up here. You also got Conrad in that district too.
Called strike. Jess Anderson on the hill for the Smyrna Eagles. Game moving right along, and as we expected, low scoring, tight one here. That one a little low on a ball. DeLoso followed by Savini, and then the top of the order. We'll get to see the girl that just made the defensive play of the game come up third in this inning. There's a ground ball to second, over to first. Quick out there for the Smyrna Eagles. That was Kayla Wilson making the play, over to Julia Thor for the out. Left-hander Rach Savini. No, I guess we got another flex player here that the.
This is number 4, Abby Montgomery.
Yep, we're back to the top of the lineup with Abby Montgomery. So Rach Savini playing right field defensively and not in the lineup offensively as a flex. Montgomery showing bunt, pulled the bat back, but the ump called a strike. Now I think Coach Allen wants to know, was it a call on the bunt attempt? Did she offer, or was it actually a strike? He got his explanation. I don't think he liked it. There's a low pitch in the dirt for a ball. One thing you see here today and all season long is they have a home plate umpire in high school softball and a base umpire. But what we will see when the playoffs start Saturday are 3 umpires for every game.
Right.
And it helps a lot with these left-handed batters on a check swing or something when you want to try to appeal, because the ump down the baseline with nobody on at first base doesn't always have the best angle to see a left-hander. So it's nice to have that extra ump for the playoffs. Abby Montgomery, first time up. Grounded out pitcher to first.
High pitch.
Yeah, just a bit. Smyrna Eagles, as Benny's already mentioned, have clinched the Henlopen North. So they automatically qualify for the playoffs. They come into the game today ranked number 1 for the first time this season. Oh, almost a great play by the third baseman.
Sarah Miller.
Yeah. Right at the fence, couldn't quite bring that one in. So he said Smyrna ranked number 1. First, we've had 4 different teams ranked number 1 this season.
Like DMA
was the first one.
Right, it's like nobody wants it.
Then Caravel, then Appoquinimink, and now Smyrna. Montgomery, good slap hit to the second baseman, underhanded toss to first, and they get the speedy Montgomery for out number 2.
Yeah, Glenn, we've seen a lot of that parity this year in a lot of sports. Other than lacrosse, this season football was like that. Both Division I, Division II, lots of changes throughout the season in the rankings. Basketball, and we're seeing it here in softball and baseball too. It's almost like nobody wants it. Nobody wants to carry the target.
Good to see, I think.
Yeah, I love the parity.
Yeah. Swing and a miss by Ashley Conate, the center fielder. I think your coach might have thought, a little bit too high for you, but, like a league of their own. She likes the high ones.
Right.
There's a ball and a 1-1 count. 2 outs here, bottom of the third. 2-1 lead for the Smyrna Eagles. Now head coach Allen has pulled Conate aside, wants to talk to her about this at bat. Both of these teams will be in the playoffs that start Saturday, with 8 games at the home fields of the higher seeds, unless they don't have a home field like a DMA, so they're probably going to play their game right here. Where's right here? Midway Softball Complex. Yep. There's a swing and a miss.
Real easy to get to at 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm not sure what our trip home's going to be like.
Change up. A little soft grounder fielded by the first baseman. Tried to tag her going up the line, and she did so.
Better.
And that ends the third inning. So we're through 3 here at Midway. It's DMA 1, and the Smyrna Eagles on top with 2.
Temperature's starting to drop here a little bit, Glenn.
Yeah, we got another front coming through here tonight.
Right.
Actually, it looks like
beat the storm.
Yeah, thunderstorms are predicted, I believe, almost the entire week. I looked at the radar earlier, and it looked like we might be on the southern tip of one coming through in about an hour. And then a lull, and then another one later tonight. And certainly both these teams hoping to get this game in without any weather threats.
Right. Well, and that's what, last year, the spring tournament season was a disaster.
Yeah.
With all the rain we had. And it just seemed like whenever there was a game scheduled, there was rain.
Like I said, it's in the forecast for Saturday, but hopefully, most of the times you get that thunderstorm activity, it's later in the day. And most of the ball games in the open ring on the playoffs should be scheduled for the early afternoon. Maybe even see a couple late morning. DMA gets their last warm-up pitch in for the top of the 4th inning. DMA had a brief 1-0 lead. Got it in the bottom of the 2nd on a home run. Then Smyrna came right back with 2 runs in the top half of the 3rd. So now we got the Eagles in the top of the 4th with that 2-1 lead. And the leadoff batter is the third baseman, Sarah Miller, who we almost saw make a really nice defensive play on a foul ball. Sarah struck out her first time up to bat against Sheehan. Lefty's ready to go. And there's a changeup. Good movement on that pitch for the swing and a miss. Benny Mitchell, Glenn Fraser here on 302 Sports from the Midway Softball Complex. It's the final day of the regular season, high school softball. There's a called ball, so we got a 1-1 count. Sarah Miller followed by Madison Drummond, the catcher, and Lakin Zay, the DP. Smyrna's won 13 straight coming into this one. DMA's won 7 in a row. There's another ball. These two teams combined for only 3 losses this season, each one of them by 1 run.
It looks like the key to beating Smyrna is keeping them off the bases because both their games it was a 2-1 and it was another 1-run game.
For DMA, they lost. DMA lost 2-1 and 3-2, and I believe
2-1 Indy River, yeah.
Well, Indy River was for Smyrna,
right?
And that was extra innings. And then DMA lost in the bottom of the 7th to Caravel. They had the lead going into the bottom of the 7th and lost that game. And
Smyrna was 6 shutouts this year too.
Yeah. Sheehan trying to take care of Sarah Miller, who leads off the top of the 4th here for the Smyrna Eagles. Eagles on top, 2-1. Tried to get the outside corner, did not get it.
She was loaded up on it.
Yeah, she was ready to go to first and waiting to hear the confirmation from the blue behind the plate.
Yeah, he maybe a good thing she didn't hit that corner because she was loaded up, ready to deliver on that pitch.
Second walk of the game issued by Sheehan. Abby Mace was the other, and ironically, that led off last inning for Smyrna. So now Miller at first, Drummond up to bat. There's a throw to second, way too high, over Nikki Elliott's head, and the runner went back to first. Fortunately for the Seahawks and unfortunately for the Eagles. That one just sailed from Conatee down to Nikki Elliott covering second base.
Well, Sarah Miller was almost on her hands and knees trying to get back to first.
Yeah.
When that ball sailed to the outfield.
Now she goes again on the bunt attempt, and it hits the runner. And that's a dead ball automatically.
Runner will go back to first base.
Unless she was in foul territory. Let's see. No, she was in fair territory, so that is an out, and the runner, Miller, has to go back to first.
One out here in the top of the 4th.
Yep, that brings up Lakin Zay, Smyrna's DP. She struck out the first time. Sheehan, the lefty, on the delivery. Conatee showing she was going to fire down to first to try to catch Miller off guard.
Yeah, the games have changed in here, Glenn. I've noticed both in baseball and softball, the signs are now going to the wristbands. All the teams wearing wristbands now and getting their signs that way.
Oh, yeah. We have all advanced in those fashions. There's a pitch, I guess, a little outside, a ball.
And the wristband company has made some money.
Yes, they have. Lakin Zay trying to get on there any way she can. There's a swing and a foul ball on the right side. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Sarah Miller at first base, 1 out. Smyrna on top, 2-1.
DMA, I do not believe, has ever been to a state final.
Good change. And
Smyrna, I believe, has a title back in, the 90s?
Yeah, 90s or 80s. Yeah, you're right.
And I think they played for one other.
Lakin Zay way out in front of that change. He fouled it off. Payoff pitch, another foul ball. Zay up there battling away for Smyrna.
Right on that pitch, right straight back. And it's big, having big cut too, so it was the pitch she was looking for.
2-1 game. Smyrna trying to add to it. DMA wants to shut things down here. There's a ground ball on the right side, foul ball.
Baseball wrapping up this week, too. Big game on Friday we may be covering. St. Mark's traveling down to Cape and Lopin.
Oh, yeah, Cape's been on fire this year.
They are leading the state in home runs. Two losses on the season. One of them was out of state, the Roosevelt Baptist.
I thought that was a swing and a miss, Benny, but it was a foul tip.
Well,
yeah, St. Mark's is perennially a power in baseball. They load up every year, have a great program. Good to see Cape playing that well this year. Got a couple of serious prospects on that high school team.
Austin Elliott headed to North Carolina next year. And, throws in the 90s, but he's going to be an outfielder. That kid can hit.
Another ground ball foul.
Only player in history to hit a home run out of Appoquinimink.
Oh, yeah, that's a poke.
Yeah, that's a pro-sized field there, and he got one out.
And it's always windy there. I'm here to tell you. And it's usually blowing against you.
It's what they call west of Middletown, correct?
Yeah, it's west of Middletown. It borders that new 301 bypass they're building. So it's in wide open spaces.
Right.
Lake Zay just battling up here at this bat. There's a low pitch, so now finally a full count. And the runner will take second on the low pitch.
Who'd ever thunk, Glenn, in the 70s and the 80s that Middletown would be divided into east and west?
Not me.
No, me either. 1993, they were a 500-student school.
That's what they were when I graduated.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what year, Ben. Sarah Miller moving up a base. There's
nice
a good shot to the right side. That'll advance Miller over to third. On the ground out. 2 outs, and Miller in scoring position over third base now. A little easier to get her home.
But I'm starting to notice Smyrna is really starting to get some good bats on the ball here. They had the double that scored the 2 runs, but they're hitting some hard ground balls here.
Well, Lake Zay struck out the first time up. That time she hit a rocket shot to second base. Now Julia Thor up, and Coach Allen for the Seahawks going to call a timeout. He wants to talk this one over. Does not want to let this run score and have his team fall behind by 2 in this game. Julia Thor struck out her first time up the bat in the second inning.
Yeah, Smyrna's not a team that lets up a lot of runs. You don't want to give them. You don't want to spot them 2 runs. They've only let up 3 runs against Charter and 4 runs against Perryville out of Maryland and 5 runs against Delmar. Not Delmar. They played for the state title last year. They call themselves now. It used to be the town too big for one state.
Right.
Now they're the town too big for one state championship as they win both field hockey and football last fall.
Yeah, how about that? Good for them. I'm always glad to see a small school district like that do well. And competing against much larger schools.
And they'll probably find their ways into this tournament. Delmar's had a decent season.
Right, they have. Yeah, there's 3 solid teams there in the South. Actually, 4 when you count Milford, who might qualify with it. Yeah. Is it today they're playing Seaford?
I believe they're playing today. So they win, that gives them their 500 record.
So we'll give them a shot.
And then they just have to pray to the softball gods that they can get that last seed. They were 11th seed last year and won the state tournament.
Right.
11 or 14.
They played Smyrna in the opening round and beat Smyrna in a slugfest. Fouled away by Thor.
Yeah, last year, none of the top 4 teams made the semis.
No.
DMA was the 5 seed. They made the semis, and that was it. Everybody else was under a 5 seed.
Yeah. So you talk about parity. There you go. 2 outs here. Miller at third base. An 0-2 count to the batter, Julia Thor. She's the first baseman for the Eagles. We are in the top of the 4th. Smyrna already with a 2-1 lead over DMA. Now, Benny thought Thor was waving at him, but instead there's some insect problems up here at home plate. Takes that one for a ball, 1-2 count. The lefty Sheehan on the hill for DMA.
This is a busy place. Got all kinds of traffic behind it. Bunch of games going on out here.
I'm old school. I call it the hill. There is a called third strike, and the Seahawks get out of this inning with no damage. We're through 3.5 here from Midway. Smyrna 2, DMA 1.
And we're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be right back with more high school softball action from the Midway Sports Complex. 2-1, the Smyrna Eagles lead the DMA Seahawks here at the Midway Softball Complex. Beautiful day, but it may not end that way.
Well, let's hope it does. At least for this ball game.
Or at least for me to get home.
And
Or at least for me to get out of Newcastle County. How about that?
We get through this half of the inning. This game's official.
Right.
We'll be through 4. Bottom of the 4th for DMA. Got the meat of the order
I
up.
think we're going to survive the weather. I think we're going to be fine.
Nikki Elliott will lead off. She had a single back in the first inning. She'll be followed by Lexi Novotny and Claire Henry. Jess Anderson on the mound. See, I'm old school. I like to say the hill. But really, if you look out there on the softball field, there's no hill.
No. Well, there isn't right
The
now.
mound. We called the mound the hill. It's flat, baby. So I guess you should say Jess Anderson's out there on the flat.
In the circle. How about the circle?
2 lefties going at it today in this low-scoring game. Excuse me, a righty and a lefty. There's a shot. It's in the gap, but running that one down and tracking it is Press. And she's had some action this afternoon. Elliott now 1 for 2 in the game. That brings up Lexi Novotny, the first baseman. She popped up to the second baseman back in the first inning. Low for ball 1. Yeah, it feels like a nice day out here in this shade.
Yeah,
We've got it all over those people out there in the sun. Got up to 90 today. Fouled back for a strike.
What town would you say we're in right now? Is there Pike Creek? A Southerner's coming up. We don't, you know.
Another foul. This one to the right side. A 1-2 count. It's just wall one mass of suburbia up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to give somebody a reference point, we're very close to the Del Castle Park Complex.
Yeah, we're by that on the way up. First time I've ever been by that.
And Del Castle Golf Course.
One thing they do have in Kenton, Newcastle, that Sussex doesn't have is lots of parks and rec.
Yep. Pop up to shortstop. Lexi Moore handles that one easily. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, watching this Smyrna team, this is the first live softball I've seen this year. Glenn, is they play confident. You just tell by their body language out there, and even when they were down 1-0, they play confident.
Didn't panic. You're right. It's a solid team. There's not too many weaknesses on this ball club. Either of these teams. What you can say about DMA, as we said at the top of the broadcast, is 2 of their better players, both first team All-State last year, lost to injuries in the middle part of the season. Called strike from Jess Anderson. Claire Henry flied out to center field her first time up. That's the one that turned Kaylin Press around a little bit and made a fine catch.
Plays the hot corner. Not been a lot of action down the third base line today. One little foul ball. That's been it.
Most of it to the right side for both teams. And that one low. Only had 2 base runners in the game for DMA. And actually one wasn't on base for long.
Nice cut.
That was the home run by Brooke Conity.
Henry fouls it straight back, right on the ball.
2 hits allowed by Jess Anderson. And only 3 hits allowed by Sheehan. Little inside. Claire Henry trying to work this up to the full count and get the walk. Where's lucky number 13?
Yeah,
Fouls
right
off another one.
Straight back.
Yep. Got under it just a tad. Good complex here at Midway. That's where we're located. There's a ball. Low pitch, and Jess Anderson lost her.
I know last year they played the finals down at the Pyle Center. Is that a set location, Glenn? Or
I believe it is, yeah. Down at Roxana?
Right, Roxana. Suburbs of Shelbyville. Want to talk suburbs. We don't have suburbs in Sussex County.
No.
We have areas.
Delaney Sheehan, the pitcher, now up to bat.
But it's the home of the Senior League World Series.
That's right. I've been down there for many a ball game. A lot of travel ball tournament action down there.
Let me tell you something. That is in the middle of nowhere.
It's close to the beach, though.
It is close.
You can qualify that tournament as a beach tournament.
Lower Sussex Little League Park.
Claire Henry drew the first walk of the game for DMA. And now Delaney Sheehan, a pitcher herself. Good eye up at the plate. And she's way ahead in the count here. So DMA trying to get a little two-out rally going here. They trail by one. Smyrna up 2-1 here. We're in the bottom of the fourth. There's a strike. Right across the knees. If Delaney can get on, we'll have Brooke Conatee, and Brooke hit the home run.
That's right.
2 innings ago. So Delaney trying to get on and set things up. There's a foul.
Foul straight back.
Yep, 2-2 count. Henry at first.
See, right fielder, a little respect here. She's backing up. 2-1 game, nothing. No double defense at this point.
Right. Another foul on the left side. Count remains at 2-2. And Benny, you look out here at these outfielders, they keep the turf pretty high out here in the outfield. You almost look around there at the other outfielders.
Right.
Caleb Press at center, you can't even see her shoes.
No.
Changed it up a little bit.
Got
it through on the right side. Third hit of the game. Just beat it out at first. And that sets it up for Brooke Conatee. She homered her last at bat. Third hit of the game off of Jess Anderson for the Seahawks.
Runners here at first and second. Looks like we're going to get a pinch runner.
And they're going to run for the pitcher.
I mean, number 21, or 23.
That'll be Julia Ferris. So Julia Ferris in to run at first base in place of Sheehan, who just got the single. First and second, as Benny said, with 2 outs. Jess Anderson got the first 2 of the inning on a fly out and a pop-up, but in a little trouble right now. And ball 1 to the catcher, Brooke Conatee.
Yeah, I believe she went oppo for her home run too, didn't she?
She went dead center.
Oh, was this?
Yeah, crushed that over Press's head. She went all the way back to the fence and watched it go. She didn't have a shot at that one. Low in the zone, and gets the call. 1-1 count to Conatee. Trying to break this tie or tie it up. If she can score Henry from second base. There's a shot
right
up in the air. Might stay in the park. And caught by the right fielder just at the base of the fence to end the inning. Anderson and the Eagles get out of a jam, and we're through 4 innings of play here from Midway. It's still Smyrna 2 and DMA 1.
Glenn, talking about the change, we talk about the difference between Sussex County and Canton and Newcastle. One of the biggest changes over the years here in Newcastle County is schools like DMA. Lots of charters and VOTECs up here, more so than we see in Kent and Sussex. And it's kind of maybe part of the reason that the Henley Conference has started to pull away, winning more state titles than they have in recent years in sports that they normally wouldn't win.
Yeah, Benny, I think that's one contributing factor. And I think the other is more people are just moving to the lower part of the state from out of state.
Right.
People from PA, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. You see Smyrna's population ballooning. You see the same thing in Milford.
Well, there's even talk of they're getting ready to break ground for another school in Middletown.
That's right, a third high school. Yeah, when I went to high school in Middletown, we had one high school, and you just said there was about 500 students in the 4 grades. And it stayed that way until the mid-'90s.
Yeah, they played in the Division II championship in 1993 in football.
Yeah, they won quite a few Division II titles before they moved up. Nikki Shirey, head coach of the Smyrna Eagles. What a great season they've had. 16-1, trying to make it 17-1 and match the record of the second-ranked team, the Appoquinimate Jaguars, having the best record going into the playoffs.
And I think you'll continue to see. I think Smyrna will be your next boom. It's already boomed.
Oh, yeah, it's booming now.
Will it reach as far as Dover, or will they just skip over and start hitting Milford? And
I think those two are just growing together. Who knows? Someday, probably when we're long gone, it'll be solid from Middletown down to Dover.
Trust me, we have enough in Lewis right now. A lot of nice property still left in Smyrna.
Top of the 5th inning, Smyrna Eagles. Abby Mace will lead it off, the right fielder. She just made the last catch in the bottom of the 4th to end the inning and end that rally for DMA as she faces Sheehan. Delaney's pitch in there for a called strike. And we're underway in the 5th inning. No scoring in the 1st inning. DMA got a home run from Conatee in the bottom of the 2nd. Smyrna got 2 back in the top of the 3rd, and that's where we are.
Folks, you continue watching 302 Sports this evening as we have a crew headed down to Caesar Rodney right now for the Slays-Annam and Caesar Rodney boys lacrosse game.
Oh. 2 teams that have solid lacrosse programs year in and year out. Of course, Slays-Annam, the last few years, I think they've been nationally ranked.
Right, and that game will be live because they got some juice in there down there at Caesar Rodney. I was just down there last week.
Swing and a miss from Abby Mace. She had a healthy cut at that one. Both teams with 3 hits in this ball game. There's a pitch, got up on top of that one, popped it up right side. Is there room? Well, it was dropped over there, but I believe it might have been out of play anyhow.
It's hard to tell whether he was on the line or not.
Right. Abby Mace will stay alive. Olivia Smith is on deck. She doubled last time at bat. These 2 girls, Mace and Smith, at the bottom of the lineup are the girls that scored the 2 runs for Smyrna in the ballgame. Mace got on by a walk.
Oh, driving to right field.
Out to right field. Almost a diving catch made, or at least a stretching catch made on that low sinking line drive, but it falls in. And for the second time today, Abby Mace is on. Have to defer to the official score as to whether that's a hit or an error.
It made a heck of an effort to get over to it. It was low. Couldn't even get the camera turned. It was out there so fast.
Yeah, it was a rifle shot out there by Mace. Now we have Olivia Smith, who doubled and scored. She actually got an RBI, too. She brought Mace home after she stole second. And then she got all the way around on that double by 2 errors.
You see, they're playing a lot deeper this time, Glenn.
Yeah, she shot the ball way over the right fielder's head last time. They learned their lesson. Pitch, a little chop swing, trying to get something down the left field line. That's foul. Olivia Smith will be followed by the top of the lineup for Smyrna, Lexi Moore. Had a bunt single her last time at bat. She's 1 for 2 in the game. Smyrna loads up with speed at the bottom of the lineup, and then they go right on around to the top and keep it going. Pitch, and that one fouled to the other side of the field. So Sheehan is out in front of the account on Olivia Smith.
2-1 here in the 5th inning.
Olivia lays off of that one. And they're checking with the base up, and she did check.
That's going to be a hard call for him to make anyways. Stand somewhere between first and second base.
I thought from here it didn't look like she went.
I didn't either, no.
Olivia gets the call from head coach Nikki Shirey, coaching third base. So there's another ball. And now Sheehan trying to not get into some trouble here in the top of the 5th. Leadoff batter's already on, Benny.
As we get into these 90-degree days, Coach Shirey might rethink her coaching uniform there. That all black. My goodness.
There's a ground ball right side, fielded by the first baseman, Klein. She gets the out at first. Throws to second to Nikki Elliott, but the base runner, Mace, held her ground. She advances, though, and that's an insurance run for Smyrna. At second base with one out, Abby Mason, now leadoff batter Lexi Moore. So Olivia Smith does her job. She moves the runner on a sacrifice. One out. Lexi Moore, 1 for 2, both bunts. And she slaps a line drive right back to Sheehan. Quick reflexes, and she makes the catch.
Wow.
Good swing by Lexi Moore. But that's 2 outs in the inning.
She gets that up or down, about a foot either way, and there's a run scored. But right back at the pitcher, right back in the circle.
And that's a big run, too. Well, that brings up Kayla Wilson. Kayla Wilson, 1 for 2 in the game. She singled back in the first inning. Get another lefty. Smyrna goes lefty-lefty, 1 and 2. There's a pop-up left side. Third baseman spears it, and that will end the top of the 5th. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 runner left on base. Go to bottom of 5. DMA up still 2-1. Kayla Wilson popping up. Third
a little bit of leather out here today, since the second and third inning.
4 hits in the game now for Smyrna. DMA has 3. Pitchers duel here, as we expected, between Sheehan and Anderson. As DMA will come up in their half of the 5th. At the bottom of the order, Olivia Ferris, Angelina Deloso, and then they'll get to the top with Abby Montgomery. Once again, both these teams, it's a matter of, well, Smyrna's already automatically qualified for winning the Henle up in North. They'll be in the playoffs. They'll start the dance on Saturday. DMA
I would say
will certainly
they've
be
done
in.
enough.
Yeah, they've done enough. They've 15 and 2 coming in, 7 straight wins. Their only losses to Caravel and Appoquinimink, ranked just ahead of them in both polls.
And Smyrna and Appoquinimink not playing each other this year.
Yeah, not this year.
So that could be a game we could see down the road, maybe the last weekend of May.
Yeah, you never know. All depends on that mathematical system they come up with for DIAA's pairings.
And weather, when it gets played. Spring sports just a tough time to get games in, and I've always often thought that the climate here, we have our seasons backwards. Probably playing fall sports right now.
Let me tell you what. Yeah, you don't like the weather today? Just wait. It'll change. We're in Delaware. I believe it was a Sunday. It barely got out of the 60s all day long. It felt chilly.
Right.
Now here we are 30 degrees later. Leading off, bottom of the 5th for the Seahawks, Olivia Ferris, the DP. She struck out her last time up in the second inning. Facing Jess Anderson. Pitch, line drive right to the first baseman. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. That brings up Deloso, second baseman. She grounded out second to first last time. And then on deck, Abby Montgomery, leadoff batter. It's a called strike. I would say at least half, if not 3/4 of the players out here today all play travel ball in the summer. So they certainly get plenty of experience, not just playing high school ball, but they get a ton of it in tournament play during the summer season.
I believe, unlike baseball, they play 3 games a day, don't they, in most travel ball tournaments, softball tournaments?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas baseball only plays 2 on that first day.
Yep, bracket play, usually get 3 on the first day, and then tournament play, all depends. If you get in that loser's bracket, you could be playing all kinds of softball.
That's right.
Second baseman Deloso facing Jess Anderson with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. There's a change in the dirt. Deloso followed by Abby Montgomery.
Montgomery responsible for this game still being 2-1. Her playing left field.
Yeah, big play for the double play. There's a punch shot into right, and coming up and making the play is the Smyrna Eagles right fielder. That's Abby Mace. She's made a couple of plays in the ball game, and that's 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Now the top of the lineup, Abby Montgomery, the left fielder for the Seahawks. 0 for 2 in the game. Bunted out pitcher to first and grounded out second to first. Left-hander, slap hitter. There's a bunt attempt. Laid it right out in front of the plate, but I thought it hit the bat, but I think, yeah. And the ump makes the call. Coach Allen wants to come in and check on that. To no avail. It's going to be the final out of the inning. So we're through 5 now here at Midway. The score remains Smyrna 2 and the Seahawks 1 going to the top of the 6th.
You know, we talk about the change of dynamics here in Newcastle County, and let's talk a little bit about Smyrna. Glenn, I've always wondered how Smyrna couldn't be a perennial powerhouse in baseball and softball when you ride by that Little League complex as you go to the high school. One of the biggest complexes around, nicest complex around.
Very nice complex on Duck Creek Parkway. I coached a lot of years down there in that system.
You know, in Kent County, the Little League system is still thriving. In Sussex County, not so much. A lot of interleague play just to have games, but you're still, you know, your Canton, Wyoming, your Dover, your Smyrna is still strong. Middletown's strong, powerful leagues, Little Leagues, and then you add that with the kids that play both travel ball and. You know.
It gets to be tough though. It becomes a numbers game.
Right.
It's like. I give the travel ball coaches a ton of credit because these older girls that play high school ball, they'll hold off and not put them in any tournaments until the high school seasons are over. So there's no conflict in scheduling. But, yeah, you got a Little League in there, which could be a conflict for high school and both travel ball. Yeah, and you see some of the competitive level in the Little League start to dwindle a little because the better girls want to play travel ball.
Right.
Or the better girls and boys.
Well, you know, we're seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot in Sussex County. You know, Georgetown, Seaford, always been big leagues, and now they're even playing interleague just to get games in, especially at the senior, junior levels.
Right. Yeah, you used to have a senior league and a big league, and you had enough teams
and
in
every
your
team had
district.
their own league, yeah.
Right. Now you've got to travel and play, and even that's getting tough. All right, we're going through the 6th inning here at Midway. Smyrna will have Kaylin Press to lead off here in the 6th. 0 for 2. She's popped up both times. She'll be followed by Sarah Miller and Madison Drummond. 2-1, Smyrna on top, scoring both runs in the top of the 3rd. Press takes a called strike from Delaney Sheehan.
Press having a pretty good day in center field also, defensively.
Because Sheehan is pitching, did I hear a fan earlier say you should call them the She-Hawks? Foul ball out of play on the right side. So Press in the hole, 0-2. Kaylin Press, one of the big power hitters on this Smyrna team.
Right now the 3-hole, correct?
Out of the 3-hole. She's gotten under 2 pitches and her previous 2 at bats against Sheehan, and that one in the dirt for a ball. A ball and 2 strikes to Kaylin Press, the center fielder. Smyrna Eagles, top of the 6th, trying to hold on to this 2-1 ball game and move on to the tournament. She's popped up another one. That one's back behind the backstop and out of play.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to cover some tournament play here at 302 Sports. Maybe when we get to the quarters and the semis. Once we get approval from the DIAA. Lots going on in the spring.
Promoting the student athletes, 302 Sports. We're great to be here today and be able to bring the ball game and to the fans and family and other interested softball fans around the state. Fly ball out to right field, and that's caught. In foul territory for the out. Press 0 for 3 on the day. It brings up Sarah Miller. Rach Savini out there in right field, tracking that one down. Sarah Miller has struck out a walk today, 0 for 1. And she was stranded on second base back in the 4th. Swing and a miss on the first pitch from Delaney Sheehan. Sheehan also has a hit in the game. Coach Allen was telling me, he said, you know, usually it's an odd thing to have pitchers on high school teams bat. Usually they just pitch. He said, I can't do it. She's one of the better hitters on the team.
Right, and we talked about it earlier, and when you lose your top 2 guns.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, first team All-Staters that were injured and not available.
She's got to do a little more.
And we're talking about Samantha Freeland, who was the starting shortstop, suffered a compound fracture diving for a ball going into the outfield. And then their starting center fielder, Alexis Johnson, who's a senior, and suffered an ankle injury, and she's done for the season.
Wow.
Umpire calls the ball. Sarah Miller takes a look down to third base coach, the head coach, Nikki Shirey.
Also, it helps you to appreciate the depth of this program, that they're still a top 5 team with 2 returning All-Staters out for the year.
Right. Yeah, Coach Allen says he just credits the young kids. They've just stepped up and kept it going. And how about the job Nikki Shirey's done this year at Smyrna?
Yeah.
And there's a swing and a miss for a strikeout, second out of the inning. We talked about earlier about the untimely passing of Wesley head coach, football coach Mike Draz, and thoughts and prayers going out to his family. How about the Smyrna softball family who lost former coach Shaner within the year? 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Madison Drummond, the catcher, up to bat now, 0 for 2 in the ball game.
Straight
fouls
back.
Off. Yep. Lefty Delaney Sheehan putting on a good performance here today. He's allowed just the 4 hits.
Change up.
Pretty one, too. Yep, Smyrna with 4 hits, DMA with 3. Thus a low-scoring game of 2-1. Sheehan's ready to go with a pitch. I think she changed the speeds a little bit there as well.
She held the bat up real nice and just made contact and wasted it.
Yep. Had Drummond way out in front of that one. Drummond's put the ball in play both times, but doesn't have a hit to show for it. Pops that one up out of play behind the Smyrna dugout. Sheehan trying to get out of this 6th inning unscathed. Got the first 2 batters. Hold Smyrna just the 2 runs, and they'll have 2 more at bats to try to tie or go ahead. DMA will. Low pitch for a ball in the dirt. Hard to believe the regular season has ended already today.
Yeah, May jumped in on us, didn't it?
Yeah. April was horrible.
Right.
Weather-wise, we had games that were snowed out, remember?
Right, it was a long month in May. It just jumped in, taking over.
Yeah, hard to believe. Softball season starts out with snow outs, and here we are, 90-degree weather on the last day of regular season. Like I said, hang around Delaware.
Weather change.
Sheehan on the rubber, dishes. A little high, but Drummond says too close for comfort. I better try to swing at this. Fouls it off. Lakin Zay in the on-deck circle, hoping that Drummond can get on. She'll get an at-bat here. Change up, lofted to left field, and an easy catch. 1-2-3 inning for Sheehan. And we go to the bottom of the 6th, and the score is still Smyrna 2 and DMA 1.
Glenn, get back to all the sports 302 covers. If you recognize Glenn's name or his voice, that's from radio. Delaware 105.9 does football and basketball down there for the radio station. We were talking before the game started about football season coming up and getting the games together. Both of us are looking for color commentators, and you talk a little bit about the joy we get out of bringing, because this doesn't pay a lot.
No.
It's just the enjoyment of, being able to, be a part of it, still be a part of it, and bring folks some high school sports.
I've been doing this since, I don't want to say this, but since 1979,
right.
Okay? Now tell me you weren't born.
I was a sophomore in high school. So that's not bad.
But it's a labor of love, you know that.
Right, absolutely.
It's something I do on a part-time level, and I've been doing it that way for decades now. And, yeah, it's nice to be able to do the best job that we can and be able to bring these events, promote the student athletes.
I accidentally picked this up went to a wrestling match, and the guy asked me if I could commentate. I was like, I don't know. I'll try. And then you did all right. You do football. Yeah. I guess if I do this, I can do football. It's been a lot of fun. And it's always fun to end that season. There's how many steps up to the press box at the University of Delaware, which is going to change after this year.
Yeah, how about that?
Maybe I'm hearing it might even be an elevator for us old guys to get up to the box.
I never thought I'd live to see it.
All right. But always.
Well, let me tell you about back in the day, Caesar Rodney, you had to climb up a ladder with equipment. There were no steps. You had to climb the ladder.
Right. They're getting ready to get turf field. The Riders.
See a lot of that trend around the state, most prolifically in the Henlopen.
Right.
All right, here we go. Bottom of the sixth. Ashley Conate to lead it off. She's 0 for 2 in the game. Lays down a bunt. Pitcher Anderson fields it, throw to first in time. And one out here in the bottom of the sixth. So the bunt attempt pushed out just a little bit too far. I wanted to deaden that one just a little bit and would have had much better chance to use her speed and get on, but not quite. Anderson off the mound makes the play. Nikki Elliott up now. Elliott has a hit today. She's 1 for 2. Fouls off the first pitch.
The amazing part about this Smyrna team was unranked coming to the season, not even in top 10. Of course, it's hard to do preseason rankings.
It is.
But, and here they are sitting at number 1.
Yep, climbed all the way up the ladder. Elliott takes the changeup, hits a little bloop shot towards first. She's going to get on. And I've seen that happen so many times. When you get under the ball like that, there's so much backspin on it, it becomes hard for the fielders to field it cleanly. And that's going to go down as a single. So Elliott 2 for 3 today. The DMA has the tie-in run aboard with one out here in the bottom of the sixth for Lexi Novotny, who's 0 for 2 in the game. First baseman. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up to the infield. Second baseman for Smyrna settles onto it. And she makes the catch. That's Kayla Wilson for out number 2. That brings up Claire Henry. Third baseman, 0 for 1 in the game. She drew a walk back in the 4th inning.
Yeah, we're going to have a meeting down here at with Coach Allen.
Coach Allen realizes the importance of this run if he can get Nikki Elliott.
Like I said, Smyrna was 6 shutouts on the year, and only twice have they let up 4 runs. And only 2 times letting up 3. So
yeah,
this might be your last opportunity. It's definitely your best at this point.
Down to their final 4 outs of the ball game. Anderson throwing another gem today. Only allowed 3 hits. One of them was a solo home run. And that was back in the 2nd inning by the catcher, Brooke Conate. At the plate, Claire Henry. First pitch a little low. Called a ball. Yeah, DMA running out of opportunities, Benny. You're right. And Coach Allen realizes the importance of getting Nikki Elliott around the bases. Hits a low ground ball right to the shortstop. The second for the force on Elliott, and Smyrna out of the inning. Lexi Moore over to Kayla Wilson for the force. And we're through 6. It's still 2-1 Eagles.
Glenn, full disclosure, Appoquinimink softball, you got a little skin in that game.
What's that?
I said Appoquinimink softball, you have a little skin in that game.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud to say that my granddaughter, sophomore at Appo High, is the starting shortstop for Appo, and she is having another really good season. Benny, last year she bat in the high 5s. I think she was second on the team in batting average and made All-State second team. And we're real proud of her. This year she's just under a shade under 600 batting average again. And you see Lexi Wilson out here, the shortstop for Smyrna. Left-handed, a lot of speed, slap hitter, bunts. And my granddaughter, Taylor Vitola, a lot like Lexi Moore.
And we could be seeing Appoquinimink down the road. They've had a pretty good season.
Pretty good
they
season.
They beat DMA in a big, I do believe it was on a Saturday afternoon, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep, big crowd up there. They played the game at Caravel. And then Appo played Caravel on a Thursday night at Caravel. And Benny, I'm going to tell you, there was about 1,000 people at that game.
Wow. Thursday
night game under the lights. It was really pleasant weather. And what a great ball game. And you guys had it right here on 302 Sports.
That is correct. It's hard to find parks that we can do. Baseball's really hard. With a lot of teams have the 6 and 8 foot fences.
Right.
We're lucky here with with a 4 foot fence. It's hard to find parks where you can actually bring the games to the people.
Lake and Zay will lead it off here in the top of the 7th for Smyrna. 0 for 2. Followed by Julia Thor and Abby Mace. So DMA and pitcher Delaney Sheehan definitely wants to get out of this inning unscathed. This is the bottom of Smyrna's order. However, Abby Mace and Olivia Smith, who bat 8 and 9, were the two that scored the runs. So much for that analogy. The pitch, it's called strike.
Wind picking up, blowing in from the outfield now, Glenn. Strong wind.
Yeah, it's just been swirling around all different directions. We had the wind hold up one deep shot to center field today and another one that kind of blew one out of here. Jeff Sheehan with a called strike there, so she's ahead in the count against Lake and Zay, the DP today. Sheehan up on the rubber, ready to go here. Top of the 7th. Changes up and has Zay way out in front of that one, fouls it away. The number 1 and the number 4 ranked teams in the state on the final day of the regular season in high school softball. Tomorrow the DIAA will get together and start working on the mathematic equations and try to figure out the pairings. But we know these two teams are going to be playing Saturday.
I believe the tournament kicks off on Saturday.
Yep, this Saturday. These two will both be in it. Smyrna, an automatic qualifier as the Henlopen North champ.
Looking to be a top 2-3 seed in the tournament.
I think these two will be top 5 seeds.
Right,
maybe top 4. All has to do with strength of schedule and how many wins and losses your opponents have. Smyrna trying to hold on to this 2-1 win and try to match Appoquinimink as the best regular season record in the state, both 17-1. Nobody undefeated this year. Pop-up going to the right side. Getting under it. And making the catch out there for DMA is Savini. One away here for Sheehan and DMA, top of the 7th. That brings up Julia Thor, 0 for 2 today. Sheehan has struck her out twice. Thor will be followed by Abby Mace, who's had a pretty good game. She's been on both times with a walk and a single. Fouled away for a strike.
Smyrna, when they take those hacks, they're on that fastball. They're fouling it straight back. They got the timing. It's just a little bit under it, just missing a little, by a little. But we saw them early in the game. They were hitting rockets early on.
Sheehan checks her wrist for the pitch on the rubber and ready to go. Swing and a miss. Blew that one right by Thor. You say she's already struck her out twice today. Oh, 2 count. Sheehan way out in front here. Almost got Thor to go for the high pitch. Strategy you see from a lot of pitchers. You get 0-2 count, try to go upstairs with it.
Makes third base coaches wiggle a little bit down there when they go, too.
Nikki Shirey coaching down there, head coach for the Smyrna Eagles. Fouled away. 1-2 count. .302 Sports, proud to bring you this broadcast today on the final day of regular season. There's a change. Count remains 1-2. So, Benny, I don't know whether you told me or not, this is the first softball game you've done this year?
It's the first softball game I've ever done.
Wow.
I mean, I've watched some, but...
How about it? It's a first for both of us then.
Right.
I've seen DMA earlier this season, but this is my first look at Smyrna. That went a little high for ball 2, so a 2-2 count.
I was talking to some people last night. I was getting ready to come up and do it. Actually, Don Parsley, who does some softball broadcasting, and said, I'm going to do some softball. I said, you follow it?
There's a change, a strikeout, and that ends.
As much as I need to.
No, that doesn't end the inning. That's only out number 2. I don't know why they were coming off the field. They were trying to fake us out. But that's 3 at-bats and 3 strikeouts for Julia Thor. So 2 to gone here, top of the 7th. So here comes Abby Mace. Like I said, 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. She scored a run.
Yeah, we'll have a mound visit here.
Yeah.
And we're going back to talk about covering softball. You know, got to expand my horizons. You know, get through football and wrestling.
Get that on your resume.
That's right. The one game I haven't figured out yet is lacrosse.
I love that sport, though.
I enjoy it, but I couldn't tell you what's going on.
Yeah, love that sport.
The only sport I know where you can throw the ball out of bounds and have a chance to get it back. You know? It's a one-of-a-kind sport.
A lot of scoring.
Right.
A lot of running. It gets a little physical.
Yes, it does.
And it seems like this region, the Mid-Atlantic region, is
It's
where the
starting to
better
grow,
universities are
Right.
in lacrosse.
Starting to grow because of the Baltimore and the
Right.
New York areas.
Now, Denver is kind of thrown into that mix. Denver University, they've made the playoffs the
That's
last
probably
few
a
years.
transplant that moved out there and introduced the game, and you know.
Yeah, they kind of throw this thing askew,
I mean,
but
years
it's
ago-
usually the ACC
Yeah.
and Navy and
10 years ago,
Johns
there was
Hopkins.
no lacrosse out west. You know?
Right.
It was a predominantly East Coast sport.
After the meeting at the mound, Abby Mace up, been on base both times today, scored a run, change up, and a called strike. Good starting pitch, and I think Coach Allen saw something in the last 2 at bats. Said, "You've started her off with fastballs. Let's try something different."
She was really heavy on that fastball early in the game. We talked about how Smyrna was really lacing the ball. She's done a good job here in the last 2 to 3 innings, mixing up her pitches, throwing that changeup in there and keeping the Smyrna batters off balance.
Exactly. That one a little high. 2-1 count to Abby Mace, who's worked a walk and has a single. It was a line shot she had out to right field. Tough play for the right fielder, and she kind of stretched out for it. Had it on the glove momentarily, and then it dropped in for the hit. Sheehan now has to be careful. She's getting behind in the count to Abby Mace. Dangerous hitter in the number 8 hole. Mace held up for a second. I think she kind of thought that might have been close enough to be a called strike, but it wasn't. So she draws her second walk. She's been on base all 3 times. And now Smyrna once again has that insurance run on base here in the top of the 7th. With 2 outs. Olivia Smith up, the left fielder. She doubled in the game. She had the big hit for Smyrna. Knocked in a run and scored a run. Smith, slap hitter, laces it out to center field, but right at the center fielder for DMA to end the inning. Ashley Conatee with the catch. So it remains a 2-1 game going to the bottom of the 7th. This is it for DMA, their final opportunity. No runs, no hits, a walk, 1 left on.
DMA. Where are we at in their lineup, Glenn?
Should be up to the meet. Well, no, a little bit past that. Delaney Sheehan will lead it off, and she has a hit in the game.
Yeah,
then Brooke Conatee will hit the home run. So a
a
nice
bloop
spot.
Bloop and a bash, and could change everything.
It could. And DMA is no stranger to heroics or histrionics, rather, in the late innings. They lost in the bottom of the 7th to Caravel as they went into the bottom of the 7th with the lead by a run. And then they trailed Appoquinimink by a run going into the bottom of the 7th and had a rally going. I think they even had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th. And Autumn Gentry came into the game and got the final 2 outs.
So coming up Saturday, state tournament. As we said, we'll see how many games we'll be able to do. Try to get permission from DIAA and try to bring you some of this action. Last year, this softball did not get covered due to all the rainouts. And you had softball and 2 lacrosse games going on at the same time, and
scheduling conflicts for you, yeah.
And you had softball that was starting to push itself into the baseball tournament season, and a lot of these umpires do both. So.
Right. All right, here we go, bottom of the 7th. Here from Midway, Jess Anderson trying to go the distance to get the win. Delaney Sheehan, the opposing pitcher up to bat, fouls one off, third base side. Sheehan, as we mentioned, 1 for 2. She struck out and then singled back in the 4th.
Coach Allen may have to manufacture a run here just to keep this thing going.
Well, Sheehan could be the key to the inning. Boy, Anderson really winged that one in there. Called the ball outside. Smyrna trying to continue a 13-game win streak. DMA trying to continue a 7-game streak. It's another called ball. 2-1 count to Sheehan. Anderson gets the call from her catcher, and now Sheehan steps out. Calls time. Wants to upset that rhythm just a little. Was going to swing at that one, checked her swing, but it's a called strike anyhow. 2-2 count. Good location that time by Anderson. Got that one down in the zone.
Down and away.
Fouled off, third base side again. Out of play. Count holds a 2-2. Leadoff batter here for DMA in the bottom of the 7th. 2-1 ball game. Smyrna on top. Glenn Frazier here at Midway alongside Benny Mitchell here on 302 Sports. Benny doing double duty now.
Yeah, cameraman had to leave. Heck of a story between that today.
Another foul off. Sheehan up there battling.
Lenny, our first cameraman, on his way here with the tripod, and somebody runs a stop sign in Wilmington and halts his progress here today.
Oh, that's a
Nick
shame.
Alessandrini fills in, but he had to leave for lacrosse, but we got it done.
Anderson delivers. Another foul off, left side out of play. Count holding a 2-2. Leadoff batter in the bottom of the 7th for the Seahawks. Trying to get something going here. Jess Anderson trying to close it out.
And there's Smyrna's left fielder has really come over and shaded this line.
A little high. We go on full with a count.
Smyrna puts a shift on here in the outfield.
Yeah, watching that line. Anderson's been favoring the outside part of the plate. There's a hit right over top of Anderson's head, but fielded by the second baseman to get the out. That's a good play by Kayla Wilson. Ball bounced just over top of Anderson's head. The leadoff batter Sheehan out here in the bottom of the 7th. That brings up Brooke Conatee, 1 for 2. She's homered and flied to right.
Seahawks down to their final 2 outs, but this is the right person to have at the plate.
Now Smyrna, right fielder's backed up. Called strike on the first pitch from Anderson. Again, good location. She's keeping it down in the zone. Conatee calls time to get set in the box. Anderson delays, and Conatee wants to call time. DMA down to the final 2 outs in this ball game. There's a bloop shot out to right, but it's going to be caught, just held up a little bit. And the right fielder making the play out there is Abby Mace for out number 2, and Olivia Ferris is the last hope now here for the Seahawks. And if this score holds up, this will be the 3rd loss of the season for DMA, all by a run.
Right.
First pitch in a little tight, ball 1.
I mean, you look at that, 3 losses, all by a run, and you've been doing it without your big guns.
Your 2 first-team All-Staters. Your shortstop and your center fielder.
I mean, that could make a team like this dangerous heading into the tournament, because some of them are just, they're just now getting in the groove.
Ferris got jammed up and fouled that one off. It's a 1-1 count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Smyrna on top 2-1. Anderson trying to close it out and go the distance. There's the pitch. It's too high. Ball 2. 2-1 count. If Ferris gets on, DeLoso would be the on-deck batter unless Coach Allen decides to bring in somebody else. Right now, DeLoso is in the on-deck circle. Here's the 2-1 pitch. A little high again, so 3-1 count. Ferris trying to draw a walk and get on board here for the Seahawks. And she would represent the tying run. Jammed her again for a full count. So it's going to come down to the payoff pitch. 3-2 count, 2 outs. Ferris battling against Anderson. Jess ready to go. Delivers low pitch, and that's ball 4.
So another crack here for the Seahawks.
Yep. Got that tying run
in the
on.
bottom of the 7th and the tying run on first.
It's only the second walk allowed in the ball game by Jess Anderson. So Ferris at first, DeLoso at the plate. And now the leadoff batter, Montgomery, on deck. DeLoso swings at the first pitch and pops it foul and out of play behind the Smyrna dugout on the first base side. Wind starting to pick up again
it's
here.
Really blowing in from left field right up our back.
Tell you what, when you got upper 80-degree temperatures, it feels good down
Yeah, you better believe it.
Second pitch is in the dirt, gets by the catcher, and that'll move up the runner, put her in scoring position. So Ferris moves up to second. That much closer to tying this thing up if DeLoso can get a hit. I think Coach Allen's already telling her, hey, on a hit, you're gone. DeLoso awaits the pitch. Ground ball towards the third baseman. Play to first a little high, but makes the catch, and this ball game is in the books. Another one-run loss for DMA. So they've lost 2-1, 2-1, and 3-2 this year to the number 1, number 2, and number 3 ranked teams in the state rankings. The Smyrna Eagles will continue their win streak to 14 and finish the regular season 17-1, and undoubtedly will be one of the top seeds going into the playoffs Saturday.
Absolutely, Glenn. We'll take a commercial timeout, come back, and we're going to wrap up today's game and talk a little bit about the upcoming state tournament. Folks, we'll be right back here on 302 Sports High School Softball Action.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts.
And I'm Danae from Matt's Fish Camp.
Come check us out.
Matt's Fish Camp is the small local fish joint with 2 locations on Coastal Highway in North Bethany Beach and Lewis, where we serve up traditional coastal fare and a casual atmosphere with house specialties like colossal crab cakes, lobster rolls, and fried Ipswich clams, along with crowd pleasers like fish and chips, fried shrimp, and a daily selection of fresh caught fish. Matt's Fish Camp, serving up lunch and dinner 7 days a week, all year.
Locations in Bethany Beach and Lewis, Delaware. See you soon. Hi, I'm Scott.
And welcome back to the Midway Softball Complex. Ben Mitchell here with Glenn Frazier on 302 Sports. Your final score, the Smyrna Eagles 2 and the DMA Seahawks 1. And Glenn, quick wrap-up here of today's game. Low-scoring affair, and that's it's hard to score runs on the Smyrna Eagles.
It's hard to score runs against 2 quality pitchers,
Right.
Benny, and that's what we had here today. Jess Anderson goes the distance, gives up just 3 hits, 1 run. That was the home run by the catcher, Brooke Conity. She struck out 3 and walked 2. And then Delaney Sheehan just matched her, really, 6 Ks, allowing just 4 hits and 2 runs. And the 2 Smyrna runs scored by the bottom of the lineup. Abby Mace got a walk, and Olivia Smith, after a stolen base, ropes one for a double and then scores on a couple of errors. And that was the difference in the game, a pitcher's duel.
Right.
Both girls playing very, very good, and I look forward to both of these 2 advancing through the playoffs quite deeply.
Right. Smyrna could be a 1, maybe a 2 or 3, but definitely I think Smyrna's definitely going to be in that top 4 in the seedings. Like we said, is just a little bit of math has to be done. Actually, a lot of math has to be done, and let's not sugarcoat it at all. And then they'll pair them up probably tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you some softball action. I think it's 16 teams.
16 teams.
Tournament.
Yep.
And I believe it's all going to conclude in Roxana. Again, this year, suburb of Selbyville.
A week from Saturday, so weather permitting, they'll
Right.
play this Saturday opening round, Tuesday the quarterfinals, semis on Thursday, and then a week from this Saturday would be the championship game.
Right. Smyrna looks good here, Glenn. Your thoughts on them? Have they been tested enough? Yeah, they beat Caravel.
Right, they beat them rather handily, 7-0.
But that Apple Clinic team looms large out there. I think Smyrna with 10. How many game winning streak here?
14 now.
14 game winning streak.
Yep.
Appo coming in at 17-1. You got 2 17-1 teams. Let's hope they're not on the same side of the bracket. They could very well be.
Never know.
But then again, you talk about softball. It's a crazy sport. Last year, it was 2 teams below. I think it was 11 seed and like an 8 seed, and playing for a state title, and 23 runs were scored in the state championship game.
And it could happen again this year, but I think you got a solid top 4. And these 2 teams we saw this evening in DMA and Smyrna, and then throw Appoquinimink and Caravel into that mix. And then you have probably another 6 or 7 teams, throw them into the mix. The Lake Forest, the Indian Rivers, the Del Mars. Look what Milford did last year.
Right,
If they win today, they might sneak back in and try to make some noise. And then a couple of teams upstate. Paddle has been playing pretty decent ball. The 2 charter schools, Wilmington and Newark Charter, have been playing well. And St. George's Votech, if they get you on the right day, they've got some good bats.
Right, St. George's Votech with a big win late in the season. And you have to, you only got to win 4 games. You only have to go undefeated now.
Right.
All right, and if Indian River, who beat Smyrna, Smyrna's only lost, if they come in hot, they could be a force to be reckoned with in this tournament field. So looking forward to tomorrow's brackets, and hopefully we'll be out there catching some of these games. And we'll just have to put in the request with the IAA. Glenn, I hope you can make some of them.
Yeah.
And help us out here. And it's a joy to have you back on here again. And looking forward to bumping into you during football season.
Thanks, Benny. I appreciate it. I want to say thanks to both head coaches, Shirey of Smyrna and Allen of DMA, for helping us out, giving
absolutely.
us a lot of solid
All the
information
we needed.
Yep.
So, folks, for Glenn Frazier, I'm Benny Mitchell on 302 Sports signing off. Hey, keep checking with us. We got a lot of spring sports coming up here on 302 Sports Network. Have a good